Leverkusen are hoping they don't slip up like Munich did. That's against a Bochum team who are scrapping for their lives. Munich are looking to keep distance from Leverkusen, although they greet a St. Pauli team who don't concede many goals. And Gladbach versus Leipzig, this is a tasty affair. Just 2 points separate both teams who were just both desperate for European football next season. We cover those 3 games and all the others as part of our Matchday 27 preview show. Hello there, thanks for joining us. My name's Craig, his name's Gonzo, and we're here to preview all the games that are coming up in Matchday 27 of the Bundesliga. Let's get cracking, shall we? Because time is precious. We start with the evening game on Freitag, which is Leverkusen versus Bochum. 2nd against 16th. Leverkusen, they're going to be sorely missing their talisman, playmaker and assist machine, which is Florian Wirtz. Whereas centre-back Edmund Tapsoba and the attacking midfielder of Nathan Teller, they're both doubtful. Pressure in the lineup will continue to mount on the Spaniard Alex Garcia, although he kept his cool, putting away his decisive penalty for Spain in their recent UEFA Nations League penalty shootout against the Netherlands. That's 3 wins and 2 draws in the last 5 for Leverkusen, scoring 10 goals. They've only lost 1 at home all season, and that was quite recent. That was a 2-0 loss to Werder Bremen, matchday 25. Xabi Alonso, he'll be looking at Patrick Schick to continue his rich scoring form. Schick scored 3 in 2 World Cup qualifiers for his nation, Czechia, and he scored that last gasp 95th minute winner for Leverkusen in their epic comeback game, a comeback win, I should say, against Stuttgart, which finished 4-3. 15 goals so far this season for the big Czech striker Patrick Schick. My one to watch for Leverkusen is, and this is a great name, Ezequiel Palacios. The Argentinian centre midfielder has featured in 18 games this season. He's got 1 goal, 4 assists. He has a 91% pass completion rate. He's had 254 touches in the opponent's third, which is ranking him inside the top 100 players so far in the Bundesliga season, which is on par, by the way, with Karim Adeyemi of Dortmund. And he's made 6 passes, which have led to goals, which is 1 more than Julian Brandt of Dortmund. And he also puts a shift in for his team defending. He's won 10 tackles and he's recovered the ball 54 times. That's the exotic sounding Ezequiel Palacios. Bochum are going to be without centre-back Brazilian Bernardo and ex-Birmingham attacking midfielder, the Japanese Koji Miyoshi. Just 2 wins in their last 5 for Bochum, which is a positive for Dieter Hecking, considering that they've only won 5 games all season. Last time on the road, they did trash Munich's 125th birthday party, and they'll be looking to do the same again to Leverkusen. Actually, Hecking, he should focus on that win because their away form, it just sucks. They've had 9 losses and only 1 win. My one to watch for Bochum is Tom Krause. The young 23-year-old central midfielder is getting regular game time under Dieter Hecking. It's actually featured in their last 7 games. For my English viewers, you might recognise the name because Tom Krause, he was on loan at Luton Town in the Championship. That's another team, by the way, that are facing relegation trapdoor. That'd be 2, actually. Yeah, that'd be 2 consecutive relegations on the bounce for Luton. That's a real shame. Tom Krause has made 12 blocks, won 11 tackles, and he's beaten his man with a dribble 6 times. My prediction for this game, I think it's going to be a straightforward Leverkusen win. I think Leverkusen will win 3-1, which will then reduce Munich's lead at the top of the Bundesliga to just 3 points. Munich versus St. Pauli. Current Bundesliga leaders versus 15th place. Munich's injury list is getting deeper and deeper. There's no Manny Neuer. Alexander Pavlovic, he's out because he's really poorly, bless him. Let's sincerely hope he makes a speedy recovery. Fonzie Davis suffered a cruciate ligament injury in a CONCACAF game for Canada against the USA. And similarly, Dayot Upamecano was injured whilst playing for France. Now, apparently, he needs knee surgery, which could keep him out for up to 3 months. That's just wild. Meanwhile, Min-Jae Kim, he's still out with an Achilles injury. The last 2 results for Munich have been a blip on an otherwise formidable season. They came away from the Woods in Berlin with a 1-1 draw. That's wild considering that they absolutely barraged Frederick Ronald's goal. And then before that, well, Bochum came to town and spoilt their birthday party. Last in a game, by the way, that Munich were 2-0 up and coasting before Bochum, scrapping for their lives, came back and won the game 3-2. The red card for João Paulinho of Munich, well, that, to be fair, was a turning point. And it does highlight that Munich's B team, that sounds harsh, Munich's other team, that sounds better, well, they're struggling to kill off games. And in that very game against Bochum, the big brain Vincent Kompany, well, he had to throw on his 5 A-listers to try and save the game. Not get a winner, to save the game. On that occasion, it didn't work. Let's not forget, though, that Munich is still 6 points ahead of Leverkusen. However, if Leverkusen win the night before against Bochum, they keep coming up. Well, then that lead could be down to 3 points. Munich, though, well, they've only dropped 6 points at home all season. And they are the Bundesliga's leading scorers, just got 75 goals, 43 of those coming at home. My one to watch for Munich is Leon Goretzka. He's a warrior midfielder. Warrior of a midfielder. He scored against Italy in Germany's recent UEFA Nations League quarter-finals. He patrols the midfield. He's got the ability to score. In fact, he has scored 4 times this season. Produced 1 assist. He's had 708 touches in the central midfield part of the pitch. 34 times he's carried that ball forward into the opposition's penalty area. That's just 1 more time than Kevin Sturger of Gladbach, by the way. He's got a pass completion rate, love that one, pass completion rate of 89.8%. And he's also made 21 important blocks. Leon Goretzka, warrior in the midfield for Bayern Munich. St. Pauli, well, they're going to be without centre-back Karel Metz. That's along with American central midfielder James Sands and the attacking midfielder Morgan Gulivogu. Needs an overlay. Coach Alexander Blessing, well, he's going to need to be counting his blessings. Just about worked. St. Pauli are on a mini 2-game unbeaten run. However, they lost the previous 4. They don't concede many goals. Actually, they've only conceded 30 goals all season. 16 of those have come away, though. They work hard in defence. They've won 259 tackles, which is ranked as a top 4 performance so far in the Bundesliga. Mind you, they don't score many goals. They've only scored 20 all season. 12 of those coming away from home. And they have the second least amount of touches in the opponent's penalty box of 492. Only Holstein Kiel have fewer touches in the opposition's penalty box with 442. My one to watch for St. Pauli is Daniel Sinani. Sinani, yeah. He's from Luxembourg. You don't get many of them for £1. Or should that be euro? Anyway, Daniel's an attacking midfielder who predominantly plays on the right. He's made 22 appearances this season, 1 goal, 1 assist, and he's put in 30 crosses, whilst made 8 tackles and 9 clearances. As for my prediction, I'm going to go 4-0 bish bash bosh. Yeah, 4-0 Munich. And I say that because Munich can be looking to keep the pressure on Leverkusen, who, as already mentioned, could be coming into this game having reduced Munich's lead at the top to just 3 points. Again, recap on the prediction, 4-0 home win Bayern Munich. Bish bash bosh. Hoffenheim versus Augsburg, 9th versus 14th. Christian Ilzer of Hoffenheim, well, he's going to be without left-back Alexander Prass and the DM, Diadi Samasescu, yeah, along with striker Adam Holzek. 2 wins and 2 draws in their last 5. They've been keeping it tight recently, conceded just 4 goals, and they're enjoying a better second half of the season. That's after the winter restart. 3 wins, just 5 losses. They are still, though, on the quest for a clean sheet at home. My one to watch for Hoffenheim is Finn Becker. Yeah, I think we've called him out before. Was worth a recap. 24-year-old defensive midfielder Finn Becker. He's featured in 9 games this season. He's put in 8 crosses, managed 1 assist, and he does his share of defensive work too, with 10 interceptions and 17 clearances. Augsburg are going to be without right-back Robert Gumney, wing-back Henry Kudusu, whilst forward Megrim Berisha, he's doubtful. That's probably because he's unsure as to which shirt to pull on. Berisha's been back and forth between Hoffenheim and Augsburg for the last few years, by the way. Augsburg are unbeaten in 10, which is absolutely fabulous. They've got 6 consecutive clean sheets to their name. Finn Darman, the goalkeeper, and his defence of Mr. Big Jeff Gulalawi stepped into that trap. Big Jeff, the Dutchman, and Mr. Wolf, well, they keep it really tight at the back. Like I say, 6 consecutive clean sheets. They are, all said and done, the best performers for making interceptions. 256 of those, which is 74 more than Bayern Munich. Having said that, I suppose Munich do move the ball around quicker. 3 wins in their last 4 games against Wolfsburg, Dortmund and Gladbach. That's 4 points off Freiburg, who are currently in a Conference League spot. Sadly, Augsburg, well, they fell away at a similar place last season when they were pushing for Europe, losing 6 out of their final 8 games and ending up in 11th place. They'll be looking to keep momentum going this time around. Actually, I did a feature on Augsburg quite recently. I'll put a link in the description for you to go and check it out. My one to watch for Augsburg is Finn Fredrik Jensen. That's right, the Finnish Fredrik Jensen. He's featured in 14 games this season. He predominantly plays as an attacking midfielder on the right. He's played 90 minutes recently for Finland, his home nation. That was in a 1-0 win over Malta. I heard that's a great place to be this time of year. It's probably a great place to be any time of the year compared to the UK. Jensen's put in 17 crosses and he's beaten his man 6 times. And whilst he assumes his defensive duties, he's made 14 clearances, he's won 9 aerial duels and he's put in 8 blocks. That's the Finn Fredrik Jensen. My prediction is a 1-0 Augsburg away win. They do lack a 1-0. They do keep it tight thanks to Finn Darman and co. Yeah, 1-0 Augsburg away win. Wolfsburg versus Heidenheim. 8th place versus 17th. Wolfsburg, they're going to be without their Algerian striker Mohamed Amoura. Midfielder Kevin Paredes. Attacking midfielder Lovro Major. And striker Lucas Nemcha. Wow, is anybody left? 2 wins and 2 draws in their last 5. Only scored 4 times though. Wolfsburg's home form is questionable. Only 3 wins all season with a 0 goal difference. They've not won at home since match day 17, although it was a memorable one. It was 5-1 against Gladbach. My one to watch is Maxi Arnold, 27, central midfielder. He's featured in 22 games for Wolfsburg this season. He's scored 2 goals. One of those came in that 5-1 routing of Gladbach. He's also contributed 4 assists. He's put in 115 crosses, which is ranked in the top 10. performers this season, and he's recovered the ball 121 times, which is top 14, one more above Hoffenheim golden boy Tom Bischoff. As for Heidenheim, well, Frank Schmidt, he's going to be missing right back Omar Traore, who is suspended. Whilst the likes of Matthias Honsek and Paul Wanner, well, they're also doubtful. 1 win and 2 draws in their previous 5. That win was a 3-1 at home to relegation strugglers Holstein Kiel, which could prove quite pivotal come the end of the season. Outside of that, well, they've only won 5 all season. Their last away win was all the way back in September last year. That was 2-0 away to Mainz, which is really impressive if you consider the run that Mainz are currently on and the fact they're in 3rd place. Wolfsburg don't win many aerial duels, plus they're pretty timid in the tackle. They've only made only making 13.5 on average per game, which is going to play to Heidenheim's strengths because they've got a big target man up front in Budu. Here we go. Zivizavadze. Anyway, they've got a big Georgian up front and they use him a lot, ploughing in those long balls. Again, Heidenheim averaging sort of 59 long balls per game, and they love it rough. Yeah, 19.8 tackles on average away from home. My one to watch for Heidenheim is Franz Kratzig, 22, attacking midfielder. He's featured in 9 games this season, scored 1 goal, he's got 2 assists. He's put in 16 crosses, and that's on the back of beating his man 5 times. And he can defend as well. He's won 9 tackles and he's made 9 clearances. As for the prediction, I'm going 1-0 Wolfsburg. Yeah, it's about time that they won at home. Sorry, Frank Schmidt. 1-0 Wolfsburg. Gladbach versus Leipzig. 7th against 5th. Only 2 points separate the two sides, both with European football very squarely on their minds. Leipzig will be looking to make amends, by the way, through reaching the Champions League again next season. That's after a dismal campaign this time around. Gladbach, well, they're going to miss in-form striker Tim Kleindist. Yeah, he's currently out suspended after 2 yellows in his previous game. And they're also missing both really talented keepers in Moritz Nichols and Jonas Omlin. 3 wins and 2 losses in the last 5 for Gladbach. They've scored 10 though, which is healthy, and they're not all coming from Tim Kleindist either, although he has chipped in with 5 assists. Only 1 win in their last 4 home games though. Bochum, well, they suffered 3-0 that day during that last win. That was back in match day 19. Their home form is middle of the road. Yeah, Gladbach have won 6 and lost 5. They've conceded 19 goals. They've scored 8 of their 23 goals at home, all from set pieces. It's quite a fascinating data point, isn't it? 8 goals from set pieces. Actually, that does make sense because they've got Kevin Sturger. He's put in 100 crosses and he's behind 29 dead ball passes that have resulted in a shot on goal. My one to watch for Gladbach is Thomas Svankara. Struggle with that one. He'll be leading the line anyway in the absence of Tim Kleindist. He has featured though in 21 games this season, mostly as a sub. He scored once and that's from 14 shots on goal. He does win a lot of headers being a big lad. 6'2", he's won 6 aerial duels and he's dribbled past his man 5 times. There's a bit more to his game though. He's put in 9 crosses, so he's really unselfish, but he does use that height for set pieces, having made 14 clearances. Just a special mention there to Rocco Reitz. He featured in Germany's under-21 game against Spain, providing an assist for a certain Nick Voltemart of Stuttgart. Germany won that game, by the way, 3-1. Marco Rose will be missing Benjamin Hendricks, Antonio Nusa and Youssef Poulsen. They did manage to break their winless streak recently. That was with a 2-0 home win over Dortmund. Came at their third attempt, I should add. They don't concede many goals away, just 18, which is 6 less than the Bundesliga leaders Munich. They don't shoot much away from home, averaging just 10.1 shots per game, with only 3.5 of those being on target. As a result, they've only scored 17 times on the road, which is 50% less than Munich and Leverkusen. It's interesting that out of Benjamin Šeško's 10 goals, none of them have come from crosses. Through balls, baby. Through balls are the way forward, of which Javi Simons, Kevin Campbell and Nusa have provided 12 between them. My one to watch for Leipzig is Arthur Vermeuren. He's only 20, defensive midfielder. He's featured in 21 games this season. He's had 495 touches in the middle of the pitch. He's behind 29 blocks, which is one more than Pascal Gross of Dortmund. He's made 22 interceptions and he's won 17 tackles. As for the prediction, I know Gladbach are going to be missing their talisman up front, Tim Kleindist, but I feel there's enough in that first 11 to get a win. So yeah, I'm going 1-0, home win for Gladbach. Holstein Kiel versus Werder Bremen. 18th and stuck at the bottom versus 12th. Marcel Rapp, manager of Holstein Kiel, well, he's going to be without his centre-back, Patrick Eras. That's due to concussion. Maybe he makes a speedy recovery. And his attacking midfielder, Andu Kalati, he's down with a knee injury. 1 win and 1 win only in their last 5 games, which, in context, they've only had 4 wins all season. Now, despite being in 18th place, they have scored 38 times, which is only 2 fewer than their opposition today in Bremen. 17 of those goals have come since the restart in January. And actually, most of these goals come from long balls. Yeah, they're averaging 58 long balls per game. That said, they do like to concede a lot of goals. 64 goals, in fact. And they've faced the most shots in the Bundesliga. That's 428. And as a result, the keeper, Timon Weiner, well, he's been very busy. He's made 86 saves, which is not surprising then that he's only kept 2 clean sheets all season. My one to watch for Holstein Kiel is Nikolai Remberg. He's 24, he's a central midfielder. He's featured in 25 matches this season for Kiel. He does the ugly work. He's like a Julian Weigl of Gladbach. He's won 20 tackles, he's made 35 blocks and 77 clearances, which is fascinating because 2 of his colleagues in defence, Timo Becker and Marko Ivazic, well, they've both made 76 each. So that's a combined number of 229 clearances. Yes, that's a combined 229 clearances between the 3 of those players. Wow, they're busy in most games. And he's great in the air too. He's won 73 duels. They're going to need him to be on his game and playing an all-round game in this one. As for Werder Bremen, well, Oli Werner's pretty much got everyone available to him. Only 1 win and 4 losses though in their last 5. It's turning out to be, dare I say it, an average season for Bremen. Sorry there to the passionate real Nico. Actually, the run-up to the winter break was a real purple patch for Bremen, but it's been sledding downhill ever since, and at quite a rate of knots too. And in most games, they've not really been in control of that sled. They've had 7 losses in 11 games, including a 4-game losing streak, managing 12 goals, which is pretty much a goal a game though. But it's those losses, right? 7 losses in 11 games since the restart. And the key point here is that even though they've scored those 12 goals, they don't have anything real in terms of points to show for it. There was one bright moment though, and that was that 2-0 away win at Leverkusen. Bremen, while they spend 30% of their matches sort of pinned back into their own half, it's only Holstein Kiel that can relate with 35%. So there's a lot of comparisons between the two teams. And they have, in Bremen, the lowest percentage of shots in the 6-yard box. Yeah, just 5%. My one to watch for Werder Bremen is the mighty Duck himself. It's Marvin Duschk. The veteran forward has featured in 24 matches this season. He's come up with 6 goals and 7 assists. His shots to goal ratio is 0.10, and that's the same as Instagram friendly Robin Hack. He's made 64 progressive passes up the pitch, which is equal to his peer Rafael Guerrero of Munich, and 22 passes in the opponent's penalty area, which is the same number achieved by Omar Mamouche. Great company to keep. My prediction is a 2-0 away win for Werder Bremen. There you go, real Nico. Something to get excited by. Still got to win the game though. Yeah, my prediction, 2-0 away win, Werder Bremen. Frankfurt versus Stuttgart, 4th against 10th. This is the Topspiel game on Samstag, and I'm expecting it to be a rowdy affair with 56,000 passionate Eagles fans getting stuck in at the Waldstadion. Dino Topmüller, well, he's going to be without French striker Eli Wahi, although he's yet to score since coming in from Marseille. However, both Hugo Ekitike and the physical Belgian Michou Batshuayi, well, thankfully they're both on goal-scoring streaks. They are also likely to be missing Hugo Larsson and Chan Uzan down to flu. Only 2 wins in their last 5. That last win was 3-1 away at Bochum, who it feels like are the gift that keep on giving. That game was notable, by the way, not just for a goal by the Gypsy, that is Rasmus Christiansen. I say that because he's been on loan for a long time. Seems like Leeds that actually won in there. It was notable as much for that goal as it was for the Frankfurt Ultras refusing to take down their banners, which were blocking fire exits. And if I recall, that start of that game was delayed for about an hour. Anyway, Frankfurt held out and they scored 3. They won the game, although most of those Ultras weren't there to see it. It should be worth putting out there that Frankfurt's form has dropped off considerably since the sale of Omar Mamouche. They've only won 3 in their last 9 games, and actually those wins are against teams that are in worse form. Dortmund, Holstein Kiel and Bochum. They've been sloppy in defence with 3 consecutive draws followed by 3 consecutive losses. And what stands out is that they haven't been able to match the top 2. That's having conceded 8 goals in back-to-back games against Munich and Leverkusen. There are some positives though for Dino Topmüller in that when they score go-ahead goals, and it's happened 5 times, they do hold on and have held on for 3 wins. My one to watch for Frankfurt is Ansgar Knauf. That's right, Knauf, 23, versatile winger. He's either played on left or the right side, depending upon what Topmüller needs from him on that day. He's German. He's got 1 goal and 5 assists this season. He's made 26 successful take-ons, which is when he's beaten a man. That's only 1 behind Golden Boy Tom Bischoff. He's carried the ball 350 times, 15 times into the opposition's penalty box, which is 1 more than Robin Hack. And he's currently on Arne Slot's watch list at Liverpool. Rumours are that he's going to be subject to a €25 million bid, likely to drop next summer. Ansgar Knauf there from Frankfurt. Stuttgart, well, they're going to be without their centre-back Arnie Chase and left-back, the Greek-Swiss Leonardis Sturgu, who's suspended after that red card recently away at Holstein Kiel. No wins in their last 5, only 2 draws to shout about. And that's coming off the back of a 4-3 loss to Leverkusen, a game in which they led twice. Their last win was in match day 21, and that was 2-1 away at Dortmund. They've got a -2 goal difference away from home, and it feels like it's going to be pretty chilly in this one too. They've only managed 4 wins all season. That last one was that win at Dortmund that I just mentioned. They've only failed to score, though, in 4 games this season. 3 of those games, though, have come on the road. And it's quite interesting that in the 3 games that they have failed to score, have been against the current top 3. That's right. They've failed to score while on the road against Munich, Leverkusen and Mainz. They do struggle to hold on to a lead as well. Since the restart of the season in January, 8 times they've scored the go-ahead goal, but they've only held on for 3 wins and have lost 3 of those games too. Not lost 3-2, they've lost 3 of those games too. My one to watch for Stuttgart is Jamie Llewellyn. He's a flexible attacking midfielder who can either play or left or on the right, as recognised by Germany's manager Julian Nagelsmann, because he came on for a sub against Italy, played 25 minutes in that recent UEFA Nations League quarter-final. In the Bundesliga, however, Llewellyn's made 20 appearances, he's scored twice, and he's come up with 2 assists. He's dribbled past his man 37 times, which ranks at number 8 so far for performances this season. And he's carried the ball into the penalty area 17 times, which is 1 more than Serge Gnabry of Munich. Let's have a special shout out as well to Nick Voldemart. He scored a hat-trick for Germany's under-21s in a 3-1 win against Spain. My prediction in this feisty game at the Waldstadion, with both teams that love to score first but struggle to hold on, I think it's going to end up being 2-2. Worth sitting on the fence for that one, and it should be an entertaining game as well. Freiburg versus Union Berlin, 6th versus 13th. Freiburg will be without the magician that is Merlin Roll. That's to a heel injury. And I'll also be missing defender Bruno Ogbus because of an Achilles injury. Freiburg are on a 7-game unbeaten streak. That includes 6 consecutive shutouts. Shout out to the keeper Noah Atabulu. Well, he played for Germany's under-21s against Spain. He's kept 10 clean sheets this season, 4 coming at home. Freiburg have drawn their last 3 games, however, only managing to score 2 goals, and those 2 goals came in the same game. That was a 2-2 with high-flying Mainz. A 4-game win streak, well, that makes up the other games in that unbeaten streak. The goals are being shared around. Vincenzo Grifo with 3, Ritsu Doan with 2, and French right-back Kylian Sedilia, well, he's got 2 as well, and that included a wicked overhead kick in a 5-0 hammering of Freiburg. Not Freiburg, Werder Bremen, sorry. They are Freiburg, right? The period of Grifo and Doan, well, they feature in the top assist rankings. 5 for Doan, but 7 for Grifo. Grifo also has 43 key passes to his record this season. Freiburg don't score many games, though. If you take out that 5-0 hammering of Werder Bremen, they've only scored 6 in 3. My one to watch for Freiburg is Erin Dinky, 23, Turkish attacking midfielder. He's featured in 21 games this season, hasn't scored, but he has come up with 3 assists, and 15 times he's beaten his man, and he's gone on to produce 14 crosses. He's made 5 live passes that have led to goals, which is ranked inside the top 40 performers so far this season. Union Berlin, well, they've only got 1 win in the last 5. Let's not overlook the fact that they came from 1-0 down to a Munich side recently, where Frederick Ranau's goal was, well, it must have felt larger than life. Munich came up with 18 shots, 14 crosses and 32 touches in Ranau's penalty area. All that being said, Union Berlin have only won 3 times on the road and have still shipped 25 goals. And yet, bizarrely, they've kept 3 clean sheets on the road. Now that's a massive credit to Ranau and his defence, which is usually playing with a back 3 of Leiter, Dohi and Querfeld. They don't make many deliberate errors that lead to goals either. Just 8 actually, which is the lowest ranked in the Bundesliga. Scoring though is an issue for Union Berlin. Just 23 goals home and away, which is only 3 more than fellow strugglers down in the relegation scrap, St. Pauli. Well, they've got 20. And yet, despite all that, Union Berlin, well, they are fighters. 5 times this season, they have dragged themselves from being behind in a game to log a result. That's 4 1-0 draws and a big 2-1 win recently in the Waldstadion against Frankfurt. Well, that was against a Frankfurt team, though, that's an eagle on free fall. Might get away with that one, Gonzo. My one to watch for Union Berlin is Benedikt Hollerbach. Ain't no Hollerbach, y'all. He's featured in every game this season. He's come up with 7 valuable goals, which is on par with Leroy Sané of Munich, by the way, and that's from 57 shots, which means that his goals to shot ratio is 0.12, which puts Hollerbach in the same bracket as Philipp Tietz of Augsburg. He's had 112 touches as well in the penalty area, which is only 6 short of Florian Wirtz. My prediction is that Freiburg will come out on top 1-0. I mean, 1-0 has been a common result for them this season. And Julian Schuster, well, he'll be thankful as it will allow Freiburg to cling on to that Conference League spot. I suppose it all depends on the teams and the other results around them, but Schuster will be happy if my prediction comes true. So yeah, 1-0 Freiburg. We round off our Matchday 27 preview with Dortmund versus Mainz, 11th versus 3rd. Now, Niko Kovac at Dortmund, he's going to be without Namchika and Sabitzer due to injury. Yeah, both down with knee injuries. Inconsistent, that's a big word, isn't it? And I use it a lot, but it just seems to sum up Dortmund's recent performances this season. 2 wins and 3 losses coming in their last 5 games. Whereas, bizarrely, they remain competitive in the Champions League to the point where they've got a quarter-final coming up against Barcelona. Now, in the Bundesliga, they are beating teams below them, like St. Pauli on Union Berlin. They put 6 past Union Berlin, by the way. 4 goals in the same game by Serhou Guirassy. And have also beaten Heidenheim 2-1. That's in a game where somehow Dortmund switched off at the restart, and then Heidenheim, Frank Smith there, came back and scored straight away, but they still managed to cling on. 19 of their 31 goals have come since the restart in January, 6 in one game, as I've already called out, have gone behind 7 times and have lost them all, and have made 17 errors that have led to goals. I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a defence that it's just not putting in the effort like it should. They've conceded 41 goals. Kerbal in goal has had to make 64 saves. It's not been enough though, because they don't block that many shots, and it happens 71 times. They don't put in as many tackles as other teams, only 173, which is ranking them in the lowest 5. And neither do they make that many interceptions either. They have the lowest number of interceptions made in the Bundesliga, just 174. My one to watch, and he does blow hot and cold, but we like him, don't we, Gonzo? We like Julian Brandt because of his consistent transfer links to Arsenal. Mind you, who isn't linked to Arsenal? 3 goals and 5 assists for Julian Brandt this season. 491 touches in the attacking third, which ranks him at number 17 for performers. 41 key passes too, which ranks him at number 8. And he's only one place off Nadim Amiri of Mainz, who's racked up 42. Mainz are going to be without their key centre-back Stefan Bell and Dominic Kerr, along with left-back Philip Mwenny. The last two, Kerr and Mwenny, are both suspended. It's going to hurt Bo Henriksen because those three have been absolute rocks and have contributed towards the team's success this season. That said, they come into this game on a 6-game unbeaten streak. That's with 4 consecutive wins in there. They've scored 11 times in those last few games. A couple of 2-0 wins as well. Last time out, though, was a 2-2 with Freiburg, but that did spoil Noah Atabulu's unbeaten streak in goal. Johnny Berghout, well, he's got 15 goals up front this season for Mainz, and he played 45 minutes for Germany. That was in the first leg of the quarterfinals with Italy. Didn't really get a sniff, but then again, he did look lively. And Anthony Cassi, he's got 7 assists for Mainz, which is another reason why they're flying this season. My one to watch for high-flying Mainz is Nadim Amiri. That's right, the central midfielder. Well, he featured in both of Germany's quarter-final games in the UEFA Nations League against Italy. He started in the San Siro, lasted about an hour, and then in the repeat leg on home soil at Dortmund's Westfalenstadion, he came on as a sub, played about 30 minutes. In the Bundesliga, which is what we really care about, he's played 23 times, he's produced 6 goals and 3 assists. 42 key passes to his name. Like I said, that's just one more than Mr. Brandt, Julian Brandt of Dortmund. And he's beaten his man 23 times, which puts him in the same bracket as Javi Simmons. My prediction is that Mainz, well, they're going to retain that third place spot at least for another week. They're going to win this game 2-0, and we're going to see a 16th goal of the season from Johnny Berghout. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 away win for Bo Henriksen's Mainz. And there you have it. That wraps up our preview of all the upcoming games in Matchday 27. Which games are you excited by? And what do you think of my wild predictions? I tell you what, why don't you let us know in the comment section down below. Thanks as ever for the support. It means so much to us. If you could find it in your hearts to give us a like, well, that would be wunderbar. And it would increase awareness of the channel, which is, according to the analytics, growing week on week, which is brilliant. We've got more content to keep you satiated. The algorithm up here is going to direct you towards our review show of Matchday 26. And on a related note, there will be a review show coming of all the games in Matchday 27. Well, that'll be with you next week. And you'll know that because you'll be subscribed already, won't you, right? No pressure. You can subscribe and like at your own free will. Gonzo and I will just be really grateful. And that's it. All that remains to be said is that I've been Craig. He's been Gonzo. You've been extremely patient, which we love you for. I'll be the same for now. Thank you very much and enjoy the games. And we'll see you very soon.